A looming shadow, the threat to Taiwan. The Taiwan Strait is a flashpoint in international relations. China claims Taiwan as part of its territory. Taiwan asserts its own independent existence. This creates a dangerous situation. Both sides possess military might. Miscalculation or escalation could lead to war. The stakes are incredibly high. Taiwan is a vibrant democracy and a major economic power. A conflict would be devastating for all involved. It would also have global repercussions. The United States and its allies have a strong interest in peace and stability in the region. Tensions have been rising in recent years. China has become increasingly assertive in its claims over Taiwan. It has conducted military exercises near the island. China has also increased its diplomatic pressure on Taiwan. The international community is watching closely. The possibility of a conflict between China and Taiwan is a major concern. It is a reminder of the importance of diplomacy and dialogue in resolving international disputes. A divided history, China and Taiwan's complex past. The roots of the China-Taiwan issue lie in the Chinese Civil War. The war ended in 1949 with the Communist Party's victory. Mao Zedong established the People's Republic of China on the mainland. The defeated nationalist government fled to Taiwan. Taiwan has been self-governed ever since. However, Beijing has never renounced the use of force to bring Taiwan under its control. China views Taiwan as a breakaway province. It considers reunification to be a core national interest. The situation is further complicated by the United States' involvement. The U.S. has a long-standing policy of strategic ambiguity towards Taiwan. This means that the U.S. does not explicitly guarantee Taiwan's defense. However, it also does not rule out military intervention. This ambiguity is intended to deter both China from attacking and Taiwan from declaring independence. It has maintained an uneasy peace for decades. However, the situation has become increasingly tense in recent years. The Dragon's Arsenal, China's potential strategies. China possesses a formidable military. It has been rapidly modernizing its armed forces. China's military is now capable of projecting power far beyond its borders. In the event of an attack on Taiwan, China could employ a multi-pronged strategy. This strategy could involve a combination of cyber attacks, missile strikes, and a naval blockade. China might first launch cyber attacks to cripple Taiwan's infrastructure. It could then follow up with missile strikes on key military and government facilities. A naval blockade would cut off Taiwan from the outside world. This would strangle its economy and make it difficult to resupply its defenses. Finally, China could launch an amphibious assault to seize control of the island. This would be a complex and risky operation. However, China's military planners have been preparing for this possibility for decades. They have developed a range of capabilities specifically designed to overcome Taiwan's defenses. The Porcupine's defends Taiwan's strategies for deterrence. Taiwan is well aware of the threat it faces. It has developed a defense strategy designed to make any invasion as costly as possible. This strategy is often referred to as the Porcupine Doctrine. The idea is to make Taiwan a prickly target. It would inflict heavy casualties on any invading force. Taiwan has invested heavily in mobile, survivable weapons systems. These include anti-ship missiles, anti-aircraft systems, and coastal defense batteries. Taiwan is also strengthening its asymmetric warfare capabilities. This includes training its military to conduct guerrilla warfare. This would make it difficult for China to establish control of the island. Finally, Taiwan is seeking to strengthen its international alliances. It hopes that this will deter China from attacking in the first place. Taiwan's strategy is not without its weaknesses. However, it could make any Chinese invasion a protracted and bloody affair. Section 5. The American Dilemma: Balancing Interests and Obligations. The United States faces a difficult dilemma in the event of a Chinese attack on Taiwan. The U.S. has a strong interest in preventing Taiwan from falling under Chinese control. However, it also seeks to avoid a direct military conflict with China. The U.S. response would likely involve a combination of military, economic, and diplomatic measures. The U.S. would likely provide Taiwan with military support. This could include weapons, intelligence, and logistical assistance. The U.S. might also deploy its own naval and air forces to the region. This would deter further Chinese aggression. Economically, the U.S. could impose sanctions on China. It might also work with its allies to isolate China diplomatically. The U.S. would face intense pressure to intervene militarily. However, the Biden administration has been cautious about making any firm commitments. The U.S. does not want to provoke a wider conflict. Section 6. A global shockwave. The far-reaching consequences of conflict. A conflict between China and Taiwan would have profound global consequences. It would be a major shock to the international system. Economically, a war would disrupt global supply chains. Taiwan is a major producer of semiconductors. These are essential components for a wide range of electronic devices. A conflict would also roil financial markets. It would likely lead to a global recession. Politically, a war would further divide the world. It would deepen the rivalry between the United States and China. This would make it more difficult to address global challenges such as climate change and pandemics. Militarily, a conflict could escalate into a wider war. This could involve other major powers. The possibility of nuclear escalation cannot be ruled out. In short, a war between China and Taiwan would be a disaster for everyone involved. Section 7. The cyber battlefield, preempting the physical war. In today's interconnected world, cyber warfare has become an indispensable tool of statecraft. China, with its sophisticated cyber capabilities, would likely launch a debilitating cyber attack on Taiwan's critical infrastructure as a prelude to any military action. The goal would be to sow chaos and disrupt Taiwan's ability to mount an effective defense. Power grids, communication networks, and financial institutions would be prime targets. By paralyzing Taiwan's digital backbone, China could gain a significant advantage in the early stages of a conflict. Taiwan is acutely aware of its vulnerability in cyberspace. It has been bolstering its cyber defenses and conducting regular drills to prepare for potential attacks. International cooperation would be crucial for Taiwan to withstand a sustained cyber onslaught. Sharing intelligence and coordinating responses would be essential to counter China's cyber aggression. Section 8. The air and sea, establishing dominance and control. Control of the air and sea would be paramount in any conflict over Taiwan. China would seek to establish air superiority early on. This would cripple Taiwan's defenses and pave the way for a potential invasion. China's air force, though numerically superior, would face a formidable challenge in Taiwan's air defenses. Taiwan possesses advanced fighter jets and surface-to-air missile systems. The Taiwan Strait, with its unpredictable weather conditions, would also complicate China's efforts to maintain air supremacy. At sea, China would aim to enforce a naval blockade. This would cut off Taiwan from vital supplies and reinforcements. However, Taiwan's navy, though smaller, is equipped with modern warships and submarines. These could inflict significant damage on China's fleet. Section 9. The ground invasion, a costly and risky endgame. An amphibious invasion of Taiwan would be a massive undertaking for China. It would be the most complex and risky military operation since World War II. The Taiwan Strait, with its strong currents and unpredictable weather, poses significant logistical challenges. Landing a large force on Taiwan's heavily defended beaches would be extremely difficult. Taiwan's military, well-trained and equipped for asymmetric warfare, would put up fierce resistance. The terrain, mountainous and unforgiving, would favor the defender. China would likely suffer heavy casualties in a prolonged ground war. The political and economic costs of a protracted conflict would be immense for China. It remains unclear whether China's leadership would be willing to pay such a high price for unification. Section 10. Averting disaster, the path of dialogue and diplomacy. The specter of war hangs heavy over the Taiwan Strait. However, it is not inevitable. Dialogue and diplomacy offer the only viable path towards a peaceful resolution. Both sides must engage in good faith negotiations to address their differences. Confidence-building measures, such as military-to-military dialogues and economic cooperation, can help to reduce tensions. The international community has a vital role to play in facilitating dialogue and discouraging unilateral actions. Multilateral forums, such as the United Nations, can provide a platform for peaceful engagement. It is in everyone's interest to prevent a conflict that would have catastrophic consequences for the region and the world. Section 11. Towards a peaceful future, the indispensable role of global cooperation. The Taiwan issue is not simply a regional dispute, it is a global challenge that demands a global response. The international community must stand united in its commitment to a peaceful resolution. This requires a multi-pronged approach that includes diplomacy, deterrence, and dialogue. Diplomacy must be the cornerstone of any effort to prevent conflict. Deterrence, through a credible defense posture and strong international alliances, is essential to discourage aggression. Dialogue, both between China and Taiwan and among key stakeholders, is crucial to building trust and finding common ground. The stakes are simply too high for complacency or inaction. The future of Taiwan, the peace and stability of the Asia-Pacific region, and indeed the fate of the international order hang in the balance. Only through sustained global cooperation can we hope to avert disaster and secure a peaceful future for all.